Hello friends, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss about some advanced features related to Spin module. So and then we can look at how to re-upload the same content to the website using Netlify. So in this video, basically we are going to discuss 5 major points. So how to link with the editor, then some highlight features of selection headers, we can see that. Then gradient BG, how I have given, I will show. Flowcharts, how it helps in understanding the logic behind each function of these modules. Then there are many other occasions, so there we need some special formats to format our documentation within the Spin module. So those things we can see now. So in the beginning, some time ago, I was looking at, if I place my cursor, it is showing show obj. If I click my cursor here, so now we can see next unique name, it has been updated over here. That means this option, link with editor, this option is allowing that feature here. So whenever we click, that is fine. It will come back, but the moment I click it, so this editor will get updated. This editor will get updated. Similarly in PyCharm also, currently cursor is with show module, show function. So if I click on, it will immediately updated here. So next unique name. So that will help sometimes quickly navigating between these functions. So same thing with this page. So in the beginning, I have installed this module from here, Sphinx book theme. So this theme is lacking some of those features. So these headers, this backend, this highlight colors, it's not there with the original theme. So if I click on this thing, so it will get highlighted. So what is my selection, it will show up. So these things are not there. So some nice stylizations and some of those things I have given here. So one of the other thing I can show here right now is like, suppose I am scrolling here, somewhere here I want to get this outliner to get updated. This is table of contents. So the moment if I click it here, it is getting updated over here. We can see blue in color. So similarly, we can go over here. So get closest pose mesh. If I want to go to some other place, it will be selected, this one. So this feature helped me while navigating to add more functionality to these functions. Quickly I can go over there. So M constraint we can go. So in this function, so whenever I click, it will directly go to that particular function. We can see the function name and all augments over here. Then details we can see. So with the recent update, I have added these flowcharts. So what these flowcharts does, it will explain the logic how this function is going to execute. So we can see here to calculate distance from AS node to another object. So it is going to get the source position, get the destination position, then calculate. If the list is given, it will calculate the distance based on that. If the object is given, destination object, it will calculate object to object. So whatever we are going to check get node means for this distance node, if we want to get node, it does the same thing. Then finally it will return m distance. So return node details, if we request, it will give those details also. So we can see some other functions over here. So get closest distance from the mesh. So the logic is given something like this. So in addition to explaining through this flowchart, I have given some nice icons for each name of this box, each function what it is doing. So that helps quickly understanding this flowchart. Some individual colors to each of this functionality it was given. So whenever delete and some red color is given, whenever positive thing like it is returning something, it gives this one green color. So some nice color coding I have followed. So start and end some different box shapes so to indicate. So next we will go to M constraint. So M constraint I have given all the possible documentation how it will work. Then the logic is given here, like applying constraints, convert these OBJs. If individual object is given, convert into list. So apply constraint on all those objects. So this particular function works for a single object or multiple objects also. So that's how it is going to explain. So in this case, next sibling, if we want to go and query, we can see that set next sibling. So then if parent already exists, so it will query sibling index of a parent has 2-3 siblings, then it will go and see that. So when it comes to short arguments, let me give a simple example over here. So short arguments are given here. So these are the short arguments. In this documentation why I am giving, I will show right away. For example, I am selecting this control, okay, this particular control. Okay, it is selected. Let me go and clear this one. So if we go and check this particular get children function, so normally these are the short arguments available over here. So type I can specify specific type of children I can query. Child employed is another argument. For example, bypassing these two things, if I want to check only, okay, let me leave these things as it is. And then I want to just include this one, so there is no need to type first two things like a type means joint something like no need of typing these things. Directly I can go to last argument. So in this case ES means exclude shapes. So first by default let us see what it is. So by default argument exclude shapes, by default it is 0. So if I go and select this one and select this child list, we can see that shape node is also selected. In this case, if I don't want to select shape nodes, ES means exclude shapes. So I need to exclude this shape selection. Now let me go and run this one more time. And if I go and select, now we can see the shape is not selected. So these customized features, if particular function has 10, 15, maybe more arguments, that time these short arguments will help. This is something like we can see in Maya commands when we are using Maya CMDS module. When we are running particular function, we already know short arguments means we can use it. T means translate. So just like how Maya, I want to replicate those functionality within here. So and I will explain one more functionality. Let us say for this locator, if I want to get nearest locator on this curve, we can see that also here. So locator I am selected. Curve is given. So attached to path, ATP means attached to path. So first let me create one locator. So we can see this is the nearest locator, but this locator is not attached to the path. And let me move this particular close to this curve somewhere. So now let me create another one, but this time I am attaching that created locator to the path, that means curve in this case. So now we can see the nearest point is this curve. Now this curve is created and it is attached to this particular curve also. That means if I move the curve, the locator will be placed on the attached to the curve. So that means attached to path. We can see that here. So attached to path false. So if I give short arguments, it will be easy while writing code ATP. I can take, instead of typing everything, something like this, I can quickly use ATP here. So that's about short arguments. Now let's get back to our documentation page. So in this case, let me go to another one more function. So mirror pose, if I go and check it, so all the logic once again explained over here. Almost every function I am going to cover on this, so that if someone want to understand how this particular function works, so he or she can go and just study this flowchart. It will explain the logic very clearly. Then nearest point on, next we will go to nearest point on. So in the nearest point on, we can see how to calculate nearest point on some mesh or any curve. So in this case it is on curve, nearest point on the curve. So then next we can go and check next series node. So in the series, if we want to identify the next node, let us say pose 1 locator is given. We want to just get the pose 2 locator, whether to find out whether it is there or not. It is something like next series node. This will help us going on the loop one by one based on the series node. Then next unique name we can go and check. So for this documentation is not there. Documentation is there, but not this flowchart is not there. So let me quickly go to what I am doing over here. So these are the stylizations which I am giving for table of contents. This selected item, whatever it is there, that will be giving this color to selection. It's like a background color. Then spdocs is something like which I am just using to generate templates. These are some templates. Quickly we can copy the code and use it in our day-to-day format needs. Then let me go to AS node. So just now I have completed typing these letters like a graph, mermaid graph I am using for this flowchart. So in this case, next unique name, if we go and check on the website, this is from my local drive. So here this one is not yet updated. So it is already saved. This file is going to be input for our Sphinx documentation. So now let me go to Sphinx documentation. So this command we can get it with up arrow. If we already used it, just let me run. So it's running the version 7.2.6. and then it is going over reading all the sources AS node and it is going to update. So now it's writing the output over here. Now it's writing. So once it reaches 100%, we can go back there and see that page. So now if I go and refresh, the page will come to the next unique name. This is where it will come. So let me reload the page. So initially it will show over here, but we can see that it's going to get loaded. But in this case, this is where exactly I am telling. For example, I am adding more documentation to the next functions one by one. So every time, for example, I have completed documentation to next unique name at this time. So to go to next unique name, I have to quickly scroll and find out where it is. So it is a bit of a time consuming work for me in this case. So let it be. So once it is loaded, document is loaded, we can see that flowchart is just now I have added by using this code from here. So this is how I am adding flowcharts to this one. So I am here. I don't need to scroll all the way to this particular function. I can just quickly, we can see that it is highlighted. This is something like in Eclipse. If I go to this function, how it is coming back. Same way here also. If I click it, it goes to show. If I click over here, it comes to next unique name. So that's how it get updated, this outliner. So this is something useful to me while maintaining this documentation. It will speed up the process. So these two things like customized, and I have added these things personally to my requirement. And I am scrolling, I can see more functions. So between each of these functions, this one we can see that so nice differentiation we can see. So this is another module I am writing from yesterday. So Sphinx documentation, all the formats I am going to keep it over this page. So if I go and check my website, so let me click doc test, it's going. This action is already there in the original Sphinx module, but earlier if you look at, if I click on it, you see it is not getting updated, document it or something, drop down menu, it's not getting updated over here, right? So that's what I updated in my this one. If we go to any of this one, if I click on this thing, it will get highlighted. You can see bold text is highlighted, and if I click on it, this background color is also getting updated. That's something I have done. So I achieved this functionality with a little bit of Java scripting. So it's just few lines of Java code. I'm able to achieve this functionality like a link to editor, this functionality. So we have seen link with editor, and then selection highlight also we have seen. Gradient BG is something like that also I have added. We can see nice gradient from here. When it is going from left to right, some nice gradient is there. That is something I did personally. Flowcharts we have already seen. Flowcharts we have already seen how we can visualize the process. It is easy to understand the logic if we can look at the flowcharts and all. So now we can go and discuss special occasions. So special occasions are something like let me check this particular module. So Sphinx documents, if we want to edit any panels quickly, we can just go and grab the code. That is something like here. So I have formatted in such a way. This is Sphinx original code. This is something like I am going to put it within the function over here. So whatever we are seeing result on HTML, for this code, this kind of result will come. Both will be there like a code and its result on HTML page. So this is something quickly when I'm writing. So I want to insert another sub module, like another one function I want to explain here quickly. I can insert this code over here. So automatically it will generate one subheader for me. Then auto module for Python function. We can see that. So to-do list, if we can go. So this is something like I'm going to in future add this functionality, to-do functionality. If there is any note to the reader of this documentation, I can provide the note. Warning is something like not only note is not only to the reader, someone who is using this module. Warning is something like if we use this function on 1 lakhs plus vertices, your system may hang up. This particular function is not designed for 1 lakh, 10 lakh function vertices. So it may give some warning. So tip means how this function can be effectively used. So how it can help in your day-to-day practice. Some tips we can provide. Important means while using that functions, suppose in this loop is there, it is going to loop over. Certain things we need to consider important. We can keep it over there. If there is any something like my eye is going to hang up if we run this function on certain things, we can see that also. So it may tell save the file before running this particular function. Caution something similar to it. Hint is something like some hints might be there in general. So yeah, these are the things we can use it in general. Required documentation related to this function. We want to add any guidelines, some kind of quick documentation. We can add it with one subline header. Then auto generate is something like we can see it's not executed, bold text. So whatever I go with this double star on both sides, it will bold those letters. CSV table is something like if I give this as input, I can get this as output on the HTML page. So deprecated message is something like we can see that this particular function is going to be deprecated, or it is already deprecated from this version. We can see that it is going to be removed soon in newer versions. So this is something we can use it in our documentation. One example we can see like E shape. So not this one, old. Let me go to old E shape. So I already marked it as a word, but at the same time it is being rendered in AS Node documentation deprecated since version 1.6. This function is deprecated and will be removed in future versions. So some kind of these messages will be given to the reader of this documentation. Then doc test is very quick way. This is something I am using this command. If I give code, the code will be saved as in one block. So readers can quickly copy this code and put it in their Sphinx input Python modules. So in this case, same code whatever I am using to generate this one, I can quickly select. If anyone can select this one and check it in Mermaid website also. So this particular code is generating this line flow, this flow chart. So document it is something like if I give code explanation, something like it will come up with some nice header and all the documentation comes over here. So here also I am giving double star wherever I want to keep this one as a bold letters. So then download links, if we want to give download quickly, if I press on this now, it will take it to my website like AS Node if someone want to download. So it is taking to AS Node. If you want to share any of your code or any link or any web page, you can just quickly give it there. So that's about download links. So now I have lost this tracking where I am now. Just quickly click on it. I can come over here. You see now itself we are seeing where download links. I'm going to explain one by one. It is going to help me download links. Next, the drop down menu is something like if I place it here link one, it will go over here link one. So again I can come back. It will stay over here. Drop down menu. Navigation is very easy. I can go to link to second functionality. It will go there. I can come back. I can give links to different parts of this particular, or I can link any other external links to this drop down menu. Next, drop down panel is something like this is a space saving technique. So in this case, if I want to see this much more details about this particular function, if I want to see more details about this particular function, just expand. This particular box can contain 10-15 lines also. In this case, I have just shown only one line. Okay, this is like a drop down panel. API graph is something like we can use contents. In this particular documentation itself, we want to bring in some more modules documentation onto this page. We can use it over here. example image is something like this, something like if you want to explain something through images, you can save that image in your hard drive and just follow the guidelines. So I'm going to update this particular document further so that you can get that code over here, so that you can also know how to bring in the external images into the web page. Then field lists are something like if you want to create a list object, something like a heading and list something, 4 or 5 headers, and quickly you want to add some lines. So this is something like this. So function header is something like if you quickly want to add a function, in this case this particular code is generating subheader over here. So under the main header, if you want to add one more function or subheader, one more function you want to explain, you can use the same. So add numbers. So add numbers is here, it is also being reflecting here. So generic examples are something like I can use code block, some HTML content, and general things. If I place it over here, it will particular HTML, whatever it is, I want to explain what it means. I can just keep over your cursor, it will highlight the help small doc. Graph examples is something like I can bring in those graphs. Flowcharts, graph visualization is something like A to B, C to some, like some flow we can bring in with the graph is. Highlight syntax is something like what kind of syntax you want to highlight. Is it a Python or is it something like a JavaScript? You can choose between those one. Then hyperlinks is the same thing. This is something like instead of download, I'm giving directly to this place. Like you can click on this one here. Again same thing, I went outside, I have lost the track where I am here. So click on hyperlinks, you will come over here. Italic text is something like with the single stars on the both the sides, you can get italic text over here. Line blocks is something like by adding each line starting point you can control whatever the line, it will just compress within the page. A starting point you have a better control. So multiple panels over here, number lists. So if you give hash serially, numbers will be added in the output during output time. So num reference download. So certain things if you want to highlight, so you want to specific attention on specific things, you can just use this way, like num reference by using this code. So you can just get this kind of. So panel examples are you can use bring in panels easily. Rubric title is something like whatever I'm seeing Sphinx code, this title with some nice dull header background. So same thing if you can see like rubric titles will be added quickly over here. Section header is something like a particular underline, if you give it, it will become print main section header with thick lines, and then small lines. Subsection is a bit smaller. I am able to implement my personalized custom fonts compared to this this original code doesn't come with some custom fonts. We can add those also. Then tab layout is something like I can see tab 1, tab 2. You can quickly jump between the tabs. So these also 10 tabs. You can give each tab will have that, like us, just like in Maya we have these tabs, right? Like so whatever these tabs will be space saving. So that is something like we can see use these tabs on the our web page for documentation. Then table tooltips, tables we can generate. Tooltips also we can see, like some test code if you want to check it, you can do that also. Toggle arrows is something like a same thing, just like we have seen. So more content will be hidden over on this page. It is a space saving. So the moment you click it on, it will expand. If something you want to see the code related to this particular question will be there. Answer you can try. If you don't get the answer, just watch it over here, something like that. You can just use this section. So version change is something like in newer version this is added, in changed version this is already not there. Something like based on the versions, if you want to add anything, So we can use this particular section. I'm going to add a source code using doctest command very soon. I can update during weekends. I can provide more. If I come across any more templates are useful for our day-to-day requirement, then definitely I can provide here. So, and then yeah, one last but not least thing. So let me explain this one more time. So for example, team view, I am here. So these are the code. So currently I am using this one, creatures book format. So book theme. So in this case, the moment I can get into here. So earlier I was saying site configuration, I can go. So this is where change the site name. In the previous video I couldn't find this option, and now it's there. So you can go and change, give the required name for your site, so that later you can copy this particular path and use this path on your website. So then we will go to deploys. So just now we can see that when I click on it, this one, it is not getting updated. Let me go and see over here, publish. So in deploys I can come over here. I need to update your site. This is a bit easy way. So I'm going over here and just dragging this HTML folder and coming over here and just wait for some time. Copy option will come. Just leave it. So it is updating now. So it is processed, it is published, we can see that. So in no time it is going to be published. Now if I can go back to this site and reload this page, I think those functions whatever I have newly added, they should be here. We can see that it is selected. I can go to this documentation somewhere. So highlight syntax. Now we can see in the website also it is available. I can click on the numbered list, it will come over here. So quickly I can go to my first page. If I click it on it, my outliner is also getting updated. So those changes within no time we can just see those changes. Whatever you have those in your personal module. You can just bring those. So guys, not only that one, and one more thing. If you go to Boomrig's page, tutorial section, you can see Sphinx format quick reference I have given here. So you guys can go ahead and just check this page. So latest updates I am adding over here. So stay tuned guys. This is the last video in this series as of now, for now, and jumping on to some other tools development after this, because my whatever the development I am doing, I want to document it very easily using the combination of custom GPTs. That means my personal GPTs. I can generate documents, doc strings. From there I can bring into my Sphinx module. When I export, I can just easily take this to my website. So in this case Netlify I am using. It is very good one. Then what I can say, like so yeah, this is the video on the Sphinx module, last video on this for now. So yeah, that's it guys. I hope this particular resource will help you all. If you guys had any doubts, any thoughts, yeah, please share with me. Yeah, thank you once again for watching.